Hey guys, it's West here, back with another Summoner's War video. Today we are on the giveaway account. I haven't done one of these in a while, or on the previous account, so I figured I'd do one on this account where I talk about a little bit more than midway through. We're about 3/4 through, or 2/3 through the month, so I felt it would be reasonable to give you guys a little bit of an update, show you guys what my progress is at right now. This is the team I'm running for Giants B6 currently on the giveaway account, the third giveaway account for May. If you want to enter for it and you haven't entered for it, the link is in the description. So I wanted to do something interesting and different on the account because, of course, there is some level of tedium when you are leveling up multiple accounts and when you're grinding from scratch all the time. So I wanted to mix it up a little bit. And so I wanted to create a new team that is farmable. I say farmable because all these units are obtainable from unknown scrolls, as well as their skill ups, or they're able to be obtained from scenario. So the entire team is based around the wind inugami. This is a unit I got fairly early on when just clearing through scenario for the first time. You can see the runes here are very, very meh. So he's a inugami, of course. He's got the same first two skills as Bella, having the defense break on 1 for 100% and the strip on 2 for 100% harmful effect rate. Of course, both of those skills need to be max skilled in order to really, do what they need to do for the cooldown reduction and for the maximum harmful effect rate. And then the third skill, rather than having a heal, is damage based on the defense of the unit. So he's essentially a damage dealer. But you can build him as a tank as well, like a speed HP defense, or speed defense defense, or HP defense defense. The main reason we're using him, however, is because of this awesome speed lead for 23%, which is 6 less than a 5-star rune brought to plus 12 on slot 2 if you have a speed rune. So, the reason I wanted to build this team is because I wanted to see if I could make my units tankier, but put them on sets where there wasn't a speed slot too. So I'm running Shannon on a triple HP set right now, just as an example of what I'm talking about. This way I could get Shannon up to 15,000 HP with relative ease. I have a few speed subs which are pretty decent, and as well I also have the Swift set coming into play. And then with that wind speed lead, I'm getting another 26% speed on top of that, which is pretty nice. So having that speed lead allows my wind units to be faster. Here we have the Olivine that does have a speed slot too, because Olivine is serving as our cleanser, and not to mention Olivine's base speed is not amazing at only 99 speed. That is why Olivine is on Despair instead of Swift, because of course when your speed is lower than 100, you're really not getting a huge benefit from the Swift set, or your benefit from the Swift set is minimized in comparison to other units, especially since having Olivine on a Despair set gives my team a little bit more survivability and potentially gives me some Despair stuns on the waves leading up to the boss. Our next unit is Juan, the Wind Drunken Master. He serves as our healer, as well as providing a little bit of extra damage for the team. He's got the attack break, he's got the the anti-crit buff for your team, as well as the heal on 2, and then the extra defense break and the health per turn, recovery HP per turn on skill 3. So 2 forms of healing, so theoretically should heal more than Bella does in the end, because this heal is not based on your ally's max HP, although this third skill's health per turn is, but his second skill is based off of his attack, so the more attack he has, the more health he's going to give. So if you have units that are squishier, for example, or have slightly less health than, less than 15,000 health, let's say, you're going to be getting more benefit by having a lot of attack on this unit with that second skill than, for example, if you healed with Bella, which does health based on your ally's max HP. Because, of course, the lower the max HP is, the lower the healing from Bella is going to be, whereas this is a flat amount on the second skill. Also, it's an additional buff for your team to reduce some damage, which is pretty nice. Next unit, of course, is Shannon, because Shannon is just a standard buffer. It's really hard to find a replacement for Shannon that is wind. Of course, the entire purpose of this team is to be built around that wind leadership skill. We do have Magic Knight here as well for a little bit of damage. Magic Knight will be slotted out soon. We're going to talk about that in 1 minute. But this is Magic Knight's build, triple attack, just to be the most consistent. Speed attack would work too. A little bit more accuracy would be nice, but whatever. We're going to go ahead and play this team because it's really fun to see. So another reason why I really like the Wind Inugami is because with that third skill that does damage based on your defense, if you kill a unit, then you get an additional turn. You just saw it proc there. And so when it comes to clearing the waves, it speeds it up a tiny little bit, because if the Wind Inugami Ramahan uses the third skill on a crystal, more than likely the crystal's gonna die. Not to mention this is GB6, and so the stats of the monsters are relatively low. We're almost in GB7, and I say almost because it's not consistent yet. We can be in GB7, but it's not super consistent. And for those of you who don't know how I progress these accounts, usually I spend the first 20 or so days building up a GB7 team, and once I have a GB7 team that's solid and I farm for a few 4, 5, and 6 star runes on my units, that's when I'm able to really effectively farm the elemental dungeons in order to get the fusion material for Vero, and then of course push into GB10, because just slotting Vero into a team like this is all it would really take to push this team straight into GB10. Of course we don't necessarily need Vero, because I'm going to talk about some other options for the damage dealer slot and for that 5th slot. So but it's just nice to get the Vero out there, because I know a lot of people understand how tedious it is to get Vero, or some people who are starting off might be intimidated by fusing monsters because it's so time consuming, it's so resource intensive, and it sometimes is demoralizing when you've spent weeks and weeks and weeks trying to get a unit, and maybe you're missing one key fusion piece, or maybe you just don't want to farm for that essence because it's going to take you 6 hours of farming the fire hall, for example, to get the essence you're looking for. So we have a 142 time. It's not too bad, and we got a rune here. It's so meh. It's so weird, but we're figuring out the runes as we go in terms of what we want to put on certain units. So if we're unsure about a rune, it's always I always just keep the rune until later. Sometimes I might just plus it up. Maybe if that goes double HP, it won't be that bad, because we could always use a little bit more tankiness on Shannon just to provide a little bit more stability for the team. Although we don't want to sacrifice too much speed, because we do want to make sure Shannon goes first every round. The turn order you can see here is Shannon, Olivine, Juan, Ramahan, and then Lapis, the Water Magic Knight. So we're going to talk about some other options for the team. Relatively early on, I pulled the Water Barb King, and I was thinking about him for Giants just because I really like him for Dragons. I'm going to be making some content with him later on, not from my account per se, but probably Starry Night's account. I'll be making a video or some kind of spotlight on the Water Barbarian King, because I have in the past expressed my interest with the Wind Barbarian King. As you guys know, he was the first unit I really got excited about, that wasn't a traditional unit, I would say, or wasn't a unit that is as mainstream as some of the other monsters I've been using in my Giants V10 team. And I really took a lot of interest to him because he's a fun unit, he's got a brand, he's got self-healing, all this kind of good stuff. So in the future I'll probably be building a Water Barb King on Starry Night's account, or maybe even my account for Guild Wars and Guild Siege. But I was considering that early on as an option as a damage dealer in one of these teams, and it changed my mind when I pulled the Wind Assassin. As you guys know, I've used the Water Assassin in the past on a few other accounts, but I've never used the Wind Assassin before. When you look at her kit, she's got the defense break on 1, she's got the self-attack and crit buff on skill 2, which provides you with an additional turn after you use the skill, allowing you to attack immediately and really take advantage of those buffs. And then a skill 3 that does a pretty decent amount of damage, like high numbers, is what you'll see if you give her, really good runes, attack for damage attack, or something of the sort. And if you kill a unit with that skill, it will attack another unit randomly. So very similar to the Ramahan skill, besides the fact that you don't get an additional turn from it, you get an additional attack from it, which I think is really cool. We have her right here. We could talk about her a little bit. She's the person I'm going to be putting into that extra slot. This defense break does skill up to 100. This skill's down to 3 turns, and her third skills down to 4 turns. So, extra defense break on the team is always nice, because defense break is your main source of, increasing damage. Even with attack buff, nothing's going to get you as much additional damage as a defense break. And of course, removing the enemy's defense buff. We've got the attack power and crit rate buff, and crit rate buff is 30% crit rate, so you only really need 70% crit rate on her if you want to min-max her, and I say that very cautiously, as I don't ever really recommend trying to go for bare minimum stats on a unit. I always like to give them above and beyond what they require for runes, especially if they're in a farming team. I want them to be as consistent and as fast as possible. So I'll be trying to give her a lot of damage. I'll probably end up on an HP crit damage attack build to start and work my way into an attack crit damage attack build. I'm really going to try to take advantage of the speed leadership skill from the Ramahan. I'll probably end up on a Fatal Blade or Fatal Energy set. We'll see how the runes drop in GB6 and GB7 for her, but I'm really looking forward to her. And on Wind Day, she is, of course, going to be getting awakened and put into this team, and we're going to see how she does as a damage dealer in the team. I hope to see some big numbers, and I really look forward to playing with this unit in general. So other units we pulled, of course, we got the Vertihill from the Vertihill event. We just recently 5-starred our Bernard. We did pull an Orion, which I know some people are really excited about. Using Orions. We have the Dark Living Armor Zinc. Nothing else that's too notable here, and there's nothing in our storage because we don't have a storage built yet. And we have 2 Devilmons waiting to be allocated to a monster. Of course, those are probably going to be saved for Veramos. Now, that's about it for the progress on this account. I believe I showed off all the runes. There's nothing really of note yet. No crazy runes that we've pulled. But yeah, that's the progress on the account so far, where I'm going to be working on skilling up these monsters, namely Shannon and Ramahan, since their skill ups are farmable or very easy to obtain. So that's what I'm going to be working on. I'm going to try to get into GB7 in the next 2 days, preferably today if I grind enough. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, if you want to enter this giveaway, the link will be in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hey guys, it's West again. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe for more.